Greetings, fellow captains, and welcome back to World of Warships with the Hivehound. And today we're going to have our very first look at the new Global XP ship, for £750,000, but probably by the time you convert all the XP, for 750,000 Global XP, the Gasconge can be yours and in your port. So let's have a quick look at the ship. So we're going to have a quick look over its basic qualities. I'll look at my commander build and a potentially very interesting commander build before we get into some gameplay and actually establish, if you've got the free XP, is it worth it? Is it worth picking the Gascoigne over the Tirpitz or the Alabama or the Monarch, for example? If you were hoping to get a JAUJARD, you might as well switch the video off now. This is about as far away. The only thing, this holds nothing in comparison to the JAUJARD. They are very, very different ships with very, very different playstyles. So let's have a look at the stats. First of all, just to clarify, so my build, I've got aiming mod system 1. We have damage control mod. Although you might want to switch, probably want to go for propulsion or steering gear, in all fairness. I think that was a bad choice by myself. Target acquisition systems is the only one you can really get is the only one for perk 3, and for perk 4 we have got main battery mod 3 installed. So let's get into the stats. So 63,200 hit points, reasonable. Armour is 18 to 430 millimeters with torpedo reduction of 35. So this is quite a it's a pretty well armoured ship, in all fairness. Artillery, we've got the same two batteries with 4 guns in each, the 380 millimeter guns that are on the JAUJARD and the Richelieu. With my current build, it can fire up to a range of 20.1 kilometers with a 25-second reload, a maximum HE shell damage of 5,400 and 13,090 for the armor piercing shells. You know, secondaries, we tend to ignore these on anything that isn't German, but there are 1,600 millimeter guns. And there are a further 9 152 millimeter guns that can fire out to 5.3 kilometers each, with a 4-second and 12-second reload time, respectively. Maximum speed. It's a French battleship. It's quick. We can get 29.7 knots. A turning circle of 850 meters, which isn't bad. And a rudder shift time of 16.1, which again is pretty good for a battleship. They're not slouches. These French ships can really move. 14.8 detectability range by sea, 12.4 by air, 14.2 whilst firing from smoke. So don't fire it from smoke. There's no point. You're not saving anyone. And obviously the guaranteed detectability range is 2 kilometers. Overview, fast, above average maximum movement speed, and nimble, above average main battery traverse, giving it the edge in close quarters. So we'll look at my current build, and then we'll talk about one that I think is a bit more interesting. So we have Robert JAUJARD with Andrew Cunningham and Charles Madden as inspiration. Cunningham for the better shell grouping, and Charles Madden gives us a quicker traverse speed and a 2.7% reduction to main battery reload. We have gone for flammable cannoneer, which increases the range of our main guns, increases the accuracy of our main guns, although in the current meta with all the HE spammers, you might want to take not one for nuisance. Let's be real. So we have a choice here between crisscross and gyrating drill bits. We're taking the actually, again. So this gives us an increase in damage and an edge on traverse speed. But crisscross, again, might be the way to go, because you're not going to lose that speed. And this ship really is about speed, but this is my JAUJARD build, this is my Richelieu build, this is my Leon build. So I'm not overly keen to change them for a single ship. Our third perk, we've got a choice between On Second Thoughts, Marksman and Megalomaniac. We have decided to stick with Marksman on this, so we've taken a slight hit to our rudder shift time, which kind of again goes against what this ship is really about, for a decrease in our dispersion, although Megalomaniac is probably the best choice to go for. We have Reaching Out to increase our range, although Emergency Specialist, with the HE spamming going on, I don't think emergency Specialist is something you want, because of that reduction in the duration. You know, how often do you put out a fire and then 10 seconds later someone set you on fire again? You want to keep that duration as long as possible. And for our legendary perk, we have gone for Will to Rebuild. So this gives us a plus 47% of health recovered and a repair party, but it does reduce our repair party duration by 30%, which is why you don't want to run Emergency Specialist with this build. And it does have a secondary perk, and I've seen this working actually recently, that if you're below 20% of health and you're within range of a allied ship, my current one, you've got to be within 2.75 kilometers, it will automatically heal itself. So this doesn't use your heals, it just automatically heals the ship up. And we need to have a quick look. So our repair party is plus 464 hit points, runs for 19 seconds. You have the choice between the catapult fighter and the spotter. Because this ship does need an aggressive playstyle, it really does. So I'd prefer to take a catapult fighter myself, because if I think there's a destroyer in the area and I'm likely to get torped, I'll put the catapult fighter up, because that does actually spot torpedoes and it does give you early warning. It's not as good as sonar, obviously, but it's there and it's a good feature for survivability on battleships. And you also get an engine boost. Now, on to the next commander. Sorry, wrong button. The next commander build. Unfortunately, I just don't have the promotion orders to set this up and see if this works. But this could be very interesting and very, very powerful on this ship. That is the Azura Lane Dunkirk. So, Charles Madden has inspiration to reduce the main battery reloader by 2.7. You can get that up to 3%, or maybe slightly higher if Charles Madden is legendary 4. I think it gives you about 3.5% fully upgraded. So Brawler, which would reduce our range, but the range is pretty good on this ship anyway, and fully upgraded, that'll give you minus 10% to reload. Gyrating drill bits for better traverse speed and more shell damage. Porcupine, probably not worth it. Frontal fire, again, probably not worth it. But then you can also take Megalomaniac, which, fully upgraded, gives you minus 10% to your reload. So that's a 22.5, almost 23% reduction in your reload time. You can also then take Master Mechanic, which gives you the extra repair party charge and more health reloaded. And then run in with Scissors. If you've got it legendary, you can either take the Torpedo Detectability perk, or you can take Running with Scissors, which gives you an increase of 15% damage, and you also get the faster traverse speed and the rudder shift at a minor penalty to dispersion of the main battery guns. So yeah, definitely a very interesting setup that you could possibly take. I think you're gonna take 25% off. That's 2.5 seconds, 5 seconds, 6.5 seconds. You're gonna get a sub 20-second reload on the Gascoigne with the Azure Lane Commander. So definitely worth considering. Right, okay, so enough of me yammering on. Let's get into some gameplay. Right, and I'm going to apologise off the bat for the lack of sound. I was at a party and I haven't quite figured out how to remove the party chat sound. And I jumped in with a couple of buddies, Monk and Runny Evil, because, well, it had been a slow night. We were pressing quite hard to try and get footage of both Aroma, the Gascoigne, and try and have a look at the new Italian cruisers. And you know, it can be rough going out there trying to get clips and you know, gameplay footage that not necessarily has to be an amazing game, but just accurately sort of represents the ship, its, you know, its strong points, its weaknesses. And yeah, so that's why this just happened to be a decent game, and it highlighted some of these things. So apologies for that in advance. Right, so right off the bat, we spawn at A, and myself, the Monk, and Runny Evil. Well, I say myself, the Monk, and Runny Evil. Myself and the Monk decide to push for A, and as you can see, everyone from B starts heading over in this general direction. Okay, I get it. You know, you don't want to particularly push into the B cap, particularly early in the game, because you get caught in crossfires, and you've got to pick one side. But if you see two of your ships heading towards A, and you're the third ship, head towards C. Or if you're a destroyer, head towards B. And if your two battleships, you split the forces. You don't want to overwhelm anyone. So first thing we see is a JAUJARD, and bizarrely for a JAUJARD, he's not hugging the map border, and he's sitting there broadside, and yep, he's gonna regret that. 26,000 damage from our very first salvo. So we're trying to pay attention to what you see here. So right, we know we've got a Hipper, we know we've got a JAUJARD. Then a Wild Odin appears, so we're going to try and line up shots on him. We get our front guns away. We're going to watch the trajectory of them to make sure we're firing our rear in the right direction, and we push it forward, and boom, another Citadel. And there's still another salvo on its way in, and whoosh, there we go. So that's 40,000 damage from our first two salvos, and this is when we see the Akatsuki. So a bow tank, because the Hipper is flinging some heat. The JAUJARD was firing some shells in our general direction, or we were expecting them. There they are, and now we're going to pull a really aggressive hard turn. Okay, we have got a bit of a risk because the Odin is firing at us, but I'd rather get shot by an Odin than torpedoed by a Japanese destroyer. And ooh, look at this. Now a Gneisenauer and a Nelson appear to be pushing up on this side. So the JAUJARD is still looking like he's presenting a pretty tasty target. So you know, if there's a broadside JAUJARD, you should always take that. And this is one of the strong points of this ship. It's one of the few battleships that can actually kite. If you look at the gun angles, the shots we just took at that JAUJARD, yeah, the gun angles, especially pointing towards the rear, are really nice. They're really effective, particularly if they're going to be silly enough to sit there broadside to you. You're presenting very little angle, and only minor turning is required to basically make you impenetrable. And we get another nice hit, taking us up to 56,000. And because you've got the range, this can be quite effective. As you can see, the return salvo from the JAUJARD. Okay, he did a little damage, but nothing significant, nothing to worry about. So that hipper is going to be a bit of a pain. But then we realise that the monk was happily shouting out. He's like, the Nelson, shoot the Nelson, kill the Nelson, because the Nelson was a bit of a threat to him. Unfortunately, our first salvo doesn't really do it. Doesn't really hurt the Nelson at all. But we're going to swing our ship round and try and make a bit of an impact. And he's backing away, so we're going to fire our second salvo at him. And let's hope that this does something a bit more significant. Unfortunately not really. But we are up to 60,000 damage, and we're still within the first 5 minutes of the match. And consider it takes a minute or two to get in a position, I don't think that's all that bad. And the Nelson, I don't know what he's doing, because he's slowly but surely presenting a better and better target for us. So salvo away, and there we go, 10,000 damage. A much better salvo. And that's when that dastardly Akatsuki pops up again. But fortunately for us, he's about 13 kilometers, so he's not a major threat. Although we do ask the monk if he could push forward and give us a bit of assistance, because, well, yeah, battleship Akatsuki, it's never going to go in your favour. And the Nelson now decides to target me. I should have taken a shot at the Nelson, but the Odin was showing slightly better broadside, and yeah, I was being a wee bit greedy. And this is something that this ship does really well, and I don't think a lot of people really appreciate it. There's 4 ships in front of me, and I'm pushing the attack. The Akatsuki again is still way out, and not really in a position to pose much of a threat. We are turning because we are obviously aware that the hipper does have torpedoes, and we want to try and get him off the board so we can continue our aggressive push. And in all fairness, that was a fairly badly aimed salvo. We've seen he was slowing down and pulling a turn, yet we pretty much let him get away with it. And in all fairness, say we're letting him get away with it, we seem to be getting away with quite a lot. I slowed down because I realised, wait, now I'm in the cap, and there's only 20 seconds left, and yeah, unfortunately, we do surpass the cap. So we start accelerating again, and goodbye, Nelson. Scoring our 3rd Citadel and 93,000 damage. So, what have we got left over here? Just the JAUJARD and the Akatsuki. The Akatsuki hasn't been seen in a while, and unfortunately for the enemy team, that Akatsuki, he could be in there capping right now, but he's not. He's been slithering off in the back, hiding mostly behind the JAUJARD. Besides his initial push, the JAUJARD is poking his nose a little too far out around the island. So salvo away, and unfortunately we screwed the pooch on that one a bit, didn't we? Wasn't really particularly effective. And there, the Akatsuki again gets himself spotted. I don't know how he's getting himself spotted all the way out there, but he is. And again, he's not in any sort of effective range for us, so well, we pay him no mind and continue pushing into the cap. And the Odin reappears in front of us, and the Odin's presenting some broadsides, so it would be incredibly rude not to take that shot. And another 9,000 damage, taking us up to 101. We've got 2 defend ribbons. We're about to take this cap, and we're looking to see if we can get any more shots off at that Odin, because the JAUJARD he's not going to come out from behind that island anytime soon. He in all fairness, I'm impressed that he's been aggressive enough to push that far forward, and the Helena kills him with fire. So there's just that Akatsuki left, and he's probably within torpedo range of us, So we're not going to worry about that too much. We haven't got any planes left. And bizarrely, out of the Gascoigne and the Wichita, he tries firing torps at the Wichita. Like I said, I think we were quite fortunate that they had that particular Akatsuki player on their team, because it did make life significantly easier for us. And obviously we've collected the A cap, and although things have been going particularly well for us this side of the map, the other side of the map is a different story. We are down to a 4 versus 4, 2 battleships on each team, 2 cruisers, and a cruiser and a destroyer for the enemy team. Now again, you'd think the enemy team would have the advantage. They've cleared sea. You can see they've got a battleship. One of their battleships and one of their cruisers are over there, but they failed to cap sea, which has actually, luckily for us, given us a bit of a marginal lead. Now, we're approaching this Odin with a bit of caution. We're going to turn and put this island in between us and him, because we are just creeping into torpedo range for the Odin. And fortunately, he wasn't paying particular attention, and where he is, he can only get his front guns away at us, and he doesn't take the shot. He refuses to. So we reset the cap, get some more defend ribbons, and are free to push round and push forward. I'm happy to take on the Odin when I'm sailing away from him, because with his torp range, he is not going to catch us. He can fire his torps, and they just don't have the range, even if you do a classic hive and smash your ship straight into the biggest island on the map. But we got another decent salvo off him. He's sailing broadside. He's clearly looking for the torpedoes, but he just doesn't have the range, and we are about to be reloaded. He does fire his guns off at us, but it's the Gascoigne. It's pretty tanky, and yeah, that exchange of guns did not work out all too well in his favour. He is down to his last few hit points, and that's when the monk comes in and starts attacking him from the other side. He's taken him down to literally nothing, and as I fire, yes, the monk, and I say the Wichita earlier, sorry, the monk's in the Prince Eugen, and the monk finishes him off. So yeah, classic hive scenario. We've now got to turn ourselves around from this nasty little gap that we've got ourselves all jacked up in. Somehow it works. Somehow it works. I don't know. Ask Wargaming. Maybe they can explain how the hell I managed to get away with doing what I do and don't end up dead. Partly, I think I should thank a large proportion of the player base for letting me get away with it. If this was on a stream, I would have been absolutely filled with torpedoes by now. But right, okay, so we are down to the last 2 ships. There is just one battleship left, and the Akatsuki, which hasn't turned round in Cap D, didn't go in and help the Odin Cap B, but they did Cap C. But that was the Baltimore that capped C. It wasn't their Akatsuki. What their Akatsuki is actually doing, I have no idea. You know, I've been sailing around in front of him for the best part of 13 minutes, and not once has he tried to attack. I'm spotted, so the Akatsuki can definitely see me. He knows where I am, and there we go. These are the first torpedoes he has fired in our general direction, and wow, look at that spread. Are those front 2 widespread? Actually, no, I don't think so. He's just fired them at quite the range. So yeah, we very easily dodged them Obviously, because I was spotted, I put up my plane, and as mentioned, planes give you early detection on torpedoes. Very handy little perk. Now, what we're going to do, we know we've got at least we've got a minute and a half before we're going to see any more torpedoes. So as we come into here, we're going to turn south to basically make sure we don't get hit by any more torpedoes. The Gneisenauer appears, so we take a stab at him, and well, don't do particularly much with our first salvo, and as again, classic hive, bump, straight into an island. I would love to call this tactical beaching, but it's not. It was me purely focusing on trying to shoot the Gneisenauer whilst trying to run away from the Akatsuki and making an absolute pig's ear of it. But, well, there we go. Citadel hit, taking us up to 140,000 and the end of the match. And where was that Akatsuki firing those torpedoes to? I crashed into an island, and they're still not even close. We fire our guns as a bit of a victory celebration there. And match over. Game 1, 141,000 damage. As can be expected from a premium tier 7, we make about 500,000 credits, 2,600 base XP, and 1 kill. Honorary mention to Running Evil and the Monk for joining me in that battle. So, is the Gasconge worth 750,000 global XP, I guess, is the big burning question. And, well, it's relative, isn't it? If you play the game a lot and you've ground it out and you just have it there and it's laying around and it's free, why not? It's a French battleship that has a playstyle much more akin to the Normandy and the Lyon. You know, that whole ship line is very much the, get your rudder going, swing the ship out, turn yourself back in. Whereas the Jean Bart and the Richelieu are kind of the family freaks, along with the Dunkirk, which have that peculiar sort of playstyle, even though they are very good at flanking, and that's what they're designed to do. Let's be honest, the majority of the player base don't play them that way at all. So yeah, it's definitely more of a Lyon style ship, which I really like the Lyon, so I've been doing particularly well. I haven't had any, I haven't had any over 150,000 games. Not really had many games under 100,000 damage though. So swings and roundabouts, it performs. It's a good performer. It's got good armor. It's got good guns, and it's because you can play it aggressive. It's a lot more fun to play than the Jean Bart. Is it better than the Monarch? Ooh, I don't know. The Monarch's really tanky, and I really like the Monarch. It's one of my favorite tier 7 battleships. The Alabama is probably the best global XP sniper. It's probably better at sniping. It's on par with the Iowa, I think, and you can push and you can be aggressive in it. I haven't come up against an Alabama to test out the Gascogne against it, but I'd say the Alabama would be the #1 pick. It's a close second between the Gascogne and the Monarch. They're both fun ships. So basically what I'm trying to say is, as long as you know you have to play it more like a Lyon and you're not getting a Richelieu Jean Bart replacement, and if you like the Lyon and the Normandy, you're gonna like this ship. It's gonna perform. It has the same guns as the Jean Bart and the Richelieu, so it does have that huge damage potential as well. It's just a more aggressive playstyle. So this has been a massively long ranty video, and I have talked far too much. So I hope you enjoyed this slightly more in-depth look into the Gascogne than I usually do. And well, until next time, take care.